All teams, give it everything you got.
It's time to fangirl flail with Fangirls Going Rogue.
Count me in. I don't think there's anything more important in the Star Wars universe than the fans.
News, discussion, and commentary from the female point of view.
You call this a diplomatic solution?
No, I call it aggressive negotiations.
With your hosts, Teresa Delgado, Trisha Barr, and Sarah Woloski.
Boy, am I glad to hear your voice.
Strap in, because this is where the fun begins.
I like the sound of that.
Welcome, Yub Cubs, to episode 48 of Fangirls Going Rogue, and you are officially a part of the Yub Club. I just came up with that. I'm Teresa Delgado, and with me is one of my co-hosts, Trisha Barr. Hey, I'm going to dance fight you, by the way.
Yes. We were watching Descendants 2 and thinking how awesome that would be. But we can do lightsabers.
Yeah, we should. We should, at a convention, we should get lightsabers and, I can bring my speaker. We can play dance fight music and do, a choreographed dance fight. That'd be hilarious.
Is that all that villains do? Is dance fight?
Yes, they do. They dance fight. And you guys just heard her. And also with us is Sarah Woloski from Skywalking Through Neverland. You didn't get to dance fight with us on Twitter.
I didn't get to dance fight because I was putting on my dancing shoes for a wedding and going to the rehearsal dinner.
I hear that you guys got to dance as Padme and Vader.
Yes. Okay, so this wedding, my friend, she loves movies, or they both do, the couple, and they also love 80s music, so there was some incredible music, the playlist they had at their wedding reception was awesome, and Richard and I happened to be outside of the reception hall where you could still hear the music, but we were, taking pictures in the photo booth, and they had a bunch of stuff to dress up in, including Wonder Woman things. And I happened to be trying on an Amidala mask, and when this Cantina theme came on in the reception hall, so I was like, oh, it's my song. So I ran in there and started dancing as Amidala, and unbeknownst to me, Richard found a Vader mask on the stage, and so he comes in a couple seconds later as Vader, and we're the only ones on the dance floor. And so we start grooving to the Cantina theme as Padme, or as Amidala and Vader.
Wow.
And everyone gave us a big round of applause.
When you told us that you did that, I was awkward?
It was fun. Hey, we had some champagne. It was all good.
It was like Star Wars weekend.
Right?
Yes. Yes, it was. So Vader was in funny. A suit, and Amidala was in my bridesmaid dress. So
you were hyperspace hoopla-ing it.
Yes, yes, we were.
Well, there's been a lot of stuff going on since the last time that we recorded, and it seems like the law of podcasting, I think, Trisha, you were the one that told me this, that every time you record, immediately after is when stuff you would have wanted to talk about inevitably breaks. And that definitely happened with us. So first thing we have here is hashtag Where's Ray made a reappearance in regards to the Monopoly game within the last couple of weeks. So very quick rundown for anybody who doesn't know what was going on. Monopoly made this Force Awakens Monopoly set that had no Rey in it. It was all guy characters as the tokens you can play. And a little girl wrote a letter, and Hasbro replied to that letter and said that they were going to, this is back in 2016, replied to that letter and said that they would release a version of the game with Rey, and claiming that the reason they didn't do it was because they didn't want to spoil the movie. She was in the middle of the poster, but, whatever. Anyway, 2017 rolls around, and we still have no version of the game, and it started coming out in the news of people saying, well, where is this version of Monopoly? And Hasbro said to the Associated Press that due to insufficient interest with, I guess, retailers or people who would buy the game and then sell it, that it would not be released in the U.S. Promptly following that from me was a barrage of tweets using the F word directed at Hasbro very harshly. I think it was a series of 3 or 4 tweets about why they suck. Anyway, so I wasn't the only one. J.J. Abrams himself actually weighed in, and he tweeted out one of his famous notes on J.J. Abrams' paper. Mm-hmm. And it said, for those who are sufficiently interested, contact Hasbro customer service to get your Rey Monopoly token with the phone number. Signed JJ. And it's set on a picture of Rey where you can see her eyes. And this was tweeted out, and of course it was retweeted by everybody, including myself. And then we did get a statement this week that the game would be available on Hasbro's website to buy as of July 25th. Now, here was one other piece. They said if you went to the website and looked, it said 1 per household, so you couldn't buy more than 1. And the Associated Press actually questioned them about that, and that was promptly taken down.
Oh my.
So,
wow.
Hasbro, you know you're in deep trouble. Why do you continue to make it worse for yourself? Why can't you just release the game?
The crazy part is they're getting ready to drop all the Forces of Destiny stuff with like Rey as one of the characters. It seems there's sufficient interest to make a whole new line. But I actually think this insufficient interest is the games weren't selling in the stores and people weren't ordering new ones. But the reason the games weren't selling in the stores is because like, oh yeah, that's the one with Luke who's in one scene in the movie. I don't want that one. Mm-hmm. I want the one with Rey.
Yep.
So it was like not, but there's a lot of people at fault. That Lucasfilm people who said okay to the game, who signed off on it in the first place. The fact that they would even think, well, why wouldn't we have the main character, any of the other characters from The Force Awakens other than Luke, but that they just kind of like brushed it off with a statement. I think the insufficient interest was kind of like wrong thing to say, obviously based on J.J. Abrams' tweet by a bad robot.
All right. And also in the news, we know the name of Star Wars Land. It is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. No, I think it's great that there's a name. However, I'm probably still going to call it Star Wars Land, like Tomorrowland and Adventureland and all the other lands. So, but cool name. I mean, it's worth, like I still call it Harry Potter World. I don't call it Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So, and then as far as when, Sarah, you know more about this than we do. We know 2019.
Yeah. So, Bob Iger let slip a couple different times some information about that. One, in the very first Legends ceremony on Friday at D23 Expo, he mentioned that come next D23 Expo in 2019, that as of that time, which we still don't know when that is, that people going to the expo would be able to visit Star Wars Land. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge now. So, that's exciting. And then also, we know that Disneyland will open slightly sooner. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge here in Anaheim would open slightly sooner than the one at Walt Disney World. However, we don't know what that time frame is.
Right. Yeah, and so here's a lot of things we don't know. I kind of tie into this. We don't know when Star Wars Celebration is going to be in 2019. We don't know when Star Wars Land, I can't help it, is going to open. We don't know when D23 Expo is going to be for sure. The only thing we do know is that Episode 9 is coming out in May. And I can already tell you that if they try to stack all of the stuff on top of each other, like in May, they're actually trying to kill Star Wars fans, I think.
Well, one thing I hope they do is put Star Wars Celebration on an alternate year than D23 Expo. Because right now, both of them are biennial. So like every 2 years. And I wish they would, stagger that.
I don't think I can physically handle being at Star Wars Celebration or D23 Expo and the movie coming out and the park opening at the same time, I think like I'm gonna melt like ice cream. I'm just like, it's too much. It's way too much.
I'm fanning for Teresa. She's like, she's getting all hot and bothered.
And again, we had hot flashes. And
she's like, I'm stressing over too much Star Wars.
Y'all are gonna have to hold me up if that's the case, because I'm just gonna be like, anxiety. I can't handle it.
What a problem to have.
Someone give me a Porg. Someone give me a Porg.
Remember when we used to just worry about having something Star Wars?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. So you're gonna be like, pet the Porg, just pet the Porg. It'll calm you down. So we have something here in the show notes about a beam or something.
Oh, they're signing the cast members are signing they signed the top part of the construction. So
yeah, the tallest
Disneyland,
beam at Disneyland.
Yep. The cast members are signing it, which means the highest point will be erected in this week, which is a big deal, which is also a sign of why Disneyland's going to be a little bit in front of Disney World. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're a little bit farther ahead. There's actually some drone footage of Florida now from news stations. So if you go type that in and say Walt Disney World, Star Wars Land, because they didn't call it Galaxy's Edge, I don't think, you can see the construction, which is a little bit better hidden in Florida than the Disneyland construction.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I think that that's happening is because they've been putting a lot of time and effort into the new Pixar place area, because Pixar is going to open in 2018, this coming summer, and so about a year from now. And they've been really focused on trying to get that one up and running at Walt Disney World. So that could be why.
That's right.
One of the reasons, because their marketing people are like, we can't do it all at once.
Because they're going, we can't handle it. We can't handle it. Pet the Porg. Pet the Porg.
So what do you guys think of the hotel? Like, are you going to try to do it? Does it?
Oh, goodness.
Is it like overwhelming because it'll probably cost $1,000 a person?
Well, yeah, I would love to save up to do it. I believe it will be kind of like a cruise, and I mean, Richard and I were doing our first Skywalking Disney cruise this September, and we've been paying for that since last year. So, we've put down $200 a month toward that. And so I think if it's like a similar thing like that, just save up, just kind of do it. I think we'll definitely do it at some point.
Yeah, I think it's like a one-time thing for everybody in their family, because you can't just go. It's not like being able to just go stay at the Wilderness Lodge or the Contemporary or something.
Right.
And this is like a destination thing, and I would love to do it one time, but I wish that there was options. Like, I wish it was like one half of it or something is the immersiveness, and then you also have the ability to just stay in a Star Wars themed hotel. Like, I wish there was both aspects to it, because I think it would be really cool to just stay there and to stay in those beds and stuff like that, and just that whole immersiveness of just your room, right? Like at Art of Animation or at some of the other places that you can stay, but without having to commit to like the 2-day thing. Because like, here's the thing: you spend $2,000 or more on this 2-day thing, and you get a ticket to visit Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, involved with it, and some of your meals. But then if you're making this just part of your Walt Disney World trip, and you have like 4 or 5 other days, then you're still paying another X $1,000 to $3,000 for the rest of your trip. It's like, good Lord. But people are going to do it, and there's going to be people there, and it's going to be sold out and all of that goodness. So
it's more like the price point at like the Grand Floridian or some of the other, I think,
like the Polynesian.
Yeah. So there are definitely people who are paying that much. There are customers who are willing to pay that much a day. So it's not outside of what some people are paying to go to Walt Disney World. And so it'll be interesting to see like where it really comes in and what the value is. So a lot of people are just going to be like, hey, I get to be part of Star Wars, so get to be in it. And I've been reading up a little bit on how they're going to do that. And I read some stuff about how they're talking about how some people will really engage and interact in these type of role-playing situations, and other people will just kind of observe. And so they're definitely going to have to limit the number of people who are in the park because of that, right?
Now, are you talking about the hotel now, or are you talking about Galaxy's Edge?
Well, but I mean, obviously in both,
okay,
because you'll be able to just go between. But the hotel, they know how many people, but in the land itself, Galaxy's Edge, they'll have to limit. It won't ever be like Disneyland where you're walking around and you're shoulder to shoulder to people, because then you just will never be able to interact with the setting, right?
Right.
But they have to take into account how everybody will interact, and then there actually are companies that do this, and it's a big process to train everybody to interact and stay in character and figure out how people will respond to it. So I'm thinking for people who are interested in doing it when they're still in their learning stage, there might be opportunities for some people to kind of go get there and try it out as they're learning to do it, because it's not going to be perfect when they first open. So there will be some learning curve, right? But they're also they're getting patents and stuff for things that there'll actually be walls where you could shoot at, and you'll be able to see your shots and what they're shooting at and different stuff like that. So I'm really excited for that kind of stuff. We could be like Han Solo, or you could have your lightsaber and all sorts of other things. I don't think they're gonna let us all go chase Sith around though. But
I'm excited for the idea that like how you do on the rides and you interact with the different experiences that are there can influence like how you are seen as you go through Galaxy's Edge. Like, I really want to get a bounty put on my head. Like, really bad.
You want to be summoned to Jabba's palace?
Yes,
and
I
put
do.
Carbonite?
Straight up. I really want all of that to happen. So
Reese is going to be like, ejecting cargo.
I'm going to be like,
cargo.
crash the Falcon.
And I want a gold medal for how well I pilot it.
But see, I have no choice but to crash the Falcon, because when I play like Mario Kart, I'm one of those people that always ends up like riding the wall, and I don't know how to stop it.
I just want to read this part from the Discover magazine article on it.
Okay.
It was, the audience may actually feel as if they're launching powerful beams of laser light towards objects on stage, according to the Disney patent filing. The Disney tech involves a system of invisible light projectors and sensors or reflectors that can identify whenever a visitor may be pointing a device, such as a mobile phone or perhaps a blaster at a target, such as an animatronic figure. I just want everybody to know that I am the crappiest shot in almost every Disney ride, so I will not be hitting anything.
Oh, that's funny. Well, what I like about this Discover article is this heading here: self-driving ride vehicles may monitor passenger moods. So it could be that this battle escape ride between the First Order and the Resistance, you're going to be in a trackless ride vehicle that we got to see at D23 Expo. Like, we saw a little model of it. And it may stop and start, and passengers may be able to get out and then get back on and like do things throughout the ride. But the ride vehicles themselves need to be able to detect when passengers are in it or out of it, or it even goes so far as to say when people are smiling or bored. And like, if they're bored, the vehicle like move to a different room, like maybe with AT-ATs in it or something. Like, what? How does this even work?
Oh my gosh. If you're bored, it's either going to send you to a room full of Ewoks and Porg, or it's going to send you into a cave where a Wampa's trying to eat you.
Yes.
I think we should all get on the ride the first time and just be like blank face.
Yes. And see what happens.
We're just not reacting. Where are you going to take us now, buddy?
Yep. Isn't that hilarious? I'm like so intrigued by this, and I can't wait, you guys. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm right now, I work in stages. I'm super excited for it, but since Pixar Place is opening up first, I'm all excited about Slinky Dog at the moment. I really want to ride Slinky Dog. I'm also super excited about some other things we're going to talk about later. But at D23 Expo, we got the sizzle reel for The Last Jedi, which for some people was like, woo, this is amazing. And for some people, they were like, meh, give me a trailer. So what in this caught y'all's eye? I get the second one.
I'll comment on the first one. The costume changes. Everybody seemed to have a few more clothes this time. So we saw Finn. Alrighty. Can I take that back?
No. No. More clothes in Star Wars.
More clothes and stars. Now we have Finn in yellow. We had Rey, and I think I counted 4 costumes. If you just say like she has the cape and then the Jedi looking outfit, and then she has the outfit and she starts the movie, and we know she starts it because she ends the movie in it, and then she also takes the vest off. So you have a few different looks: hair up, hair down, hair in the Rey buns, all sorts of stuff. So also a bruise. You can do the Rey with the bruise look too if you want to do that. So there's some different Poe's going more kind of Han Solo, different flight suits. I don't like that too.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the creatures. I know you guys noticed a bunch of them. I primarily focused on one. And what I find interesting about this is that, Trisha, you knew about Space Penguin before I did. Apparently
for a long time, and I've had to keep it a secret. I've been such a good non-spoiling friend, but I was so excited when they came out. Space Penguin!
Yeah, so as soon as this showed, everybody started hashtagging Space Penguin, and then of course it got to me, and I'm like, where's the Space Penguin? And I watched it, and I was like, Space Penguin! And then of course we learned that it is called a Porg, and it has blown up the internet. There are memes, there are enamel pins being made, there are plushies already being made by people, silicone Porgs. There's all kinds of Porgs being made, and baby Porgs are called Porglets. We thought they might be called Porglings, but they're not. They're called Porglets. And from Pablo Hidalgo, we have found out that due to their isolation and not interacting with humans, he ventures that their what he call it? Their crud. The word's running away with me, but he said it on Twitter. He said that it was that their interest.
They're not fearful of humans.
Yeah, they're fearful of humans because they're intrigued by these things that they've never seen before, that they might be friendly. And I was like yes, friendly Porgs.
Yeah, the Porgs, the Porgs, and the name. Making Star Wars had that information, and they had the name, and then obviously when people saw it, people were saying Porgs, and then I think Star Wars just was kind of like, all right, we're not even going to try to fight this now. So yeah, they're Porgs. But the coolest thing I saw was there's rumor that there's an interactive animatronic plushie Porg coming.
Oh my gosh, can it be like a Furby or like a Hatchimal?
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. I want a Hatchimal Porg.
Wow.
So, I know everybody's like, oh God. So when I saw that, I was like, yes, it's gonna.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing if you could get a Porg as a Hatchimal, and then you get to, make it hatch from its little egg. I'm going to assume it's an egg, and then it's like born, and you get to teach it stuff.
You do realize they have little sharp, nasty teeth. I don't know if you really look when they open their mouth, but they do.
All animals have sharp teeth.
I'm just saying. I wouldn't necessarily. And Ryan Johnson, the director, one question, you have, because I just came back from Africa, you have like a dazzle of zebra and you have a parliament of baboons. There these names. If you say what of Porgs, he said it's a murder of Porgs.
Oh my God.
You also call it a murder of crows, is what the cluster, like a herd of cows or whatever.
It's great.
So I was like, when he said murder of Porgs, I'm like, alrighty then.
Well, we know they
That's
don't eat. They
crazy.
don't eat humans like Ewoks do.
Well, remember what he's from? What am I thinking? What's the movie with the cute little things that turn really vicious?
Gremlins?
Gremlin?
Gremlins. That's what I'm thinking. He grew up in that era, so I wouldn't necessarily think that. I wouldn't assume that they're sweet and cuddly.
Don't
No.
pour water on a porg.
Exactly. So, they could be gremlins, but there are a lot of other creatures. Did you guys see any others that you really liked?
Yeah, there was like a white silver wolf something, right?
Kind of struck me as foxy, but it could be. We also see him with his face off, so we see the animatronic too.
Oh, we did? Okay.
At one point.
Because that totally made me think of Dave Filoni and like, okay, he must have had a hand in this design.
Well, I'm sure all those things will show up in animation.
Yes.
I hope they have a Porg animated show. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Pitching it right now.
Well, we have more porg talk later for sure, but you brought up like groups of animals. What do you call it's not really a joke, but it's kind of a joke. What do you call a group of giraffes?
That's a good one. I should know this. What do you call them?
It is a tower.
A tower, that's right.
What do you call a group of afraid giraffes?
A tower. High tower. No. That would be fun.
Scaredy tower?
A tower of terror.
That's funny.
My favorite animal was the horse.
Oh?
The horse. Whatever, the space horse or the space llama. Some people have called him. But the space horse has been in rumor mill for a long time too. So if you want to go look at spoilers, you can go out there and search on who is involved. There are characters involved with that space horse. I'm not saying what though.
How exciting. Well, what other things struck you in this trailer? Because I honestly, when I saw this trailer, I was in the live action panel. We had just been shown all this other Disney stuff, culminating in like 2 days of new stuff that we were being shown. So I've seen this segment twice now, and once I could barely take it in because it was just so much stuff thrown at you all at once. So, Trisha, I think you've had a little more time to actually take it in and talk about it on Hyperspace Theories as well. So can you give us more details that you noticed?
Yeah, the biggest detail is that they show you a lot of stuff and don't tell you anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like, well, yeah, I guess we do get to see. Like
you get to see a lot of stuff, but they don't tell you anything. Like you see Daisy Ridley and you see Adam Driver fighting, but you don't see the weapons because there's wood sticks. And I think Adam has a lightsaber hilt in his hand, but you don't really know who they're fighting because it's the stunt performers. And so you don't know who that is. So it doesn't tell you anything. But I did note that Daisy Ridley said, when she saw the behind the scenes, she was like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff that they gave away in this. But she's coming from, and then she realized that nobody was reacting to it because we have no perspective. She's the person with the most perspective. So apparently they showed us a lot, but we have no idea what they showed us. But a lot of people missed that when the one shot of Leia head on with the kind of snowy looking background, which isn't snow, I believe that's the salt of Crate.
Oh,
it looks snowy. That Rey is below her in the shot, and she's looking down at her.
So Rey we see Rey's head, like the back of her head.
The back of her head.
Okay.
In the lower frame, and a lot of sites, big websites, have totally missed that when they're like, "Oh, look at all these things you should see." I'm like, "Yeah, that's a big moment."
Yeah.
I also, there's just so much things going on that you're like, okay, what big moments? I feel like that's one of the biggest there.
Right.
Is seeing that. So, and I just loved, it was kind of, I don't know, I got really emotional seeing Carrie Fisher. She was very serious as Leia and very happy looking as Carrie Fisher in those shots that we got to see her. So, and then she said, it's about family. And I was like,
I know. Yeah, there was that one moment when Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill are kind of bobbing along, on set, not being filmed at all, but just in a moment together. And it was like, oh my goodness. Oh. So
there seems like there was a lot of dancing, because there's that one meme that people are doing of John Boyega and Daisy Ridley, and they're like doing this little like dance bob thing. Pretty cool.
And the first time, all I was thinking when I saw that shot was new costume, which is very and hair down. And then I'm like, oh, they're dancing, they're so cute. But I'm sure this is probably not a happy dancey scene. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. When do you get those in Star Wars except at the very end of Return of the Jedi?
No, definitely not their victory.
Yeah.
I think, Sarah, did you guys do like a live reaction show to this one or right after it or something?
Oh, okay. That's what you're... yeah, so basically after the end of the live action panel on Saturday of D23 Expo, we went immediately downstairs again to get in line for the Walt Disney Parks and Resorts panel, because they were going to announce more stuff on Star Wars and reveal the name of Galaxy's Edge. So, yeah, so to kill time, Richard and I...
Like hours.
Yes, like 3 hours. Richard and I and Margaret Mays and Joey Pittman all recorded some live YouTube of reactions to the panel. And there's actually 4 videos, part 1, 2, 3, 4, of the live action panel reactions on our YouTube channel, Skywalking Through Neverland. So we had some interesting things to say about that. Like, just our immediate reactions are pretty funny because we're all pretty tired. Because we were there at like 2 a.m. So, but it's fun to see, initial reactions to things, the stuff that pops out to you.
I know, Teresa, you did something with Disney Vault Talk, right?
We did. We have a 2-hour plus long show. It's our most recent episode 60, but we don't do episode numbers. So it'll just say D23 with Riley Blanton, I believe is what it is. Or it says D23 Expo. I can't remember. But yeah, we did this whole sort of breakdown of live action. And we talked briefly about the animation panel. And we talk all about the park stuff. And it's a heavy, heavy episode of information. I'll just say that. But it was very fun.
Nice.
And then Trisha, you did a reaction show on Hyperspace Theories as well, I believe.
Yeah, we did Sunday, and I somehow was so sick from all my traveling, but I managed to edit it and get it out. So that was fun. And yeah, we were that's what I said after the whole thing. And that's what we do, is look at storytelling and getting information. That's essentially what we determined was there's really no information in this. It's like, it looks really cool and we see all sorts of things. I mean, yeah, you could see the Porg and you get to see things, but we have no context, and it's almost impossible to place anything other than, I feel like this is going to be Empire, because Ryan Johnson's like, it's not Empire Strikes Back. I feel like it's Empire Strikes Back in reverse. I feel like everybody's going to come together and Crate is going to be Hoth. But that's the only thing I could kind of take away from the new bits of information that we got. Because we know it's not going to start like Empire Strikes Back. So when people make the comparisons, we know it's not starting like Empire Strikes Back, because everybody's on Hoth and then they go their separate ways and come back together. But we know that's not going to happen, because we know that Luke Skywalker is going to be getting handed a lightsaber. So it's
not going to start with.
Well, yeah, exactly. And think about the end of Empire Strikes Back is Luke losing that lightsaber, right? So is he just going like, yeah, did you bring me the hand? Which is kind of like what Mark Hamill joked about. I'm sure there's like a cut of that, just like him being goofy and all. So were people at the D23 Expo? Was there any talk about, oh my God, there's no talk about Han Solo?
Yeah. I mean, I know that Richard was really, really disappointed, and we did touch on that in some of our.
I know he said that. I watched it.
Wait, what?
I watched the recordings. So
yes.
was sort of leading to that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was a bunch of us at D23 Expo, the Star Wars fans especially. I mean, the live action panel ended with a whole bunch, it ended with the Marvel section. So we got that huge trailer for,
Infinity War.
Avengers 3 Infinity War. Thank you. And that's what they wanted everyone to be talking about afterward. And that's what most people were talking about afterward. However, a lot of us diehard Star Wars fans were kind of like, dude, they totally glossed over Han Solo, like, completely. There wasn't even a recording of Ron Howard saying, everything's fine here now. All right. How are you? Okay, back to the expo.
That would have been real funny.
That would have been. But honestly, I think it was just a week before that they had actually started shooting with Ron Howard. So I honestly think they just did not have time to even scramble something together for D23 Expo.
I'm fine with what we got for The Last Jedi, and it's obviously I really wanted some next coming movie announcements.
Yes.
Really
that would have been.
That is what I thought would be, definitely.
But I feel like the firing of the directors, which happened right after our recording, and all that was kind of might have put them a little bit on their heels, where they're like, okay, maybe we need to come back and rethink what we're doing, who we're hiring. The talk long ago that Ron Howard had wanted to do a Star Wars movie, and that there were a lot of these older generation, my generation, were medium aged people had expressed interest, and that was sort of like, well, that's not what we're gonna do. And the only difference between what happened in Rogue One and what happened now with the Han Solo movie, yet untitled, still, we'll just call it Han Solo, is that Lord and Miller said no. Gareth Edwards has said, we're bringing in another director. He's going to shoot stuff. He's going to put it together. And Tony Gilroy got credit for story, first the screenplay, but he essentially was doing all of the heavy lifting because Gareth Edwards essentially didn't have they put this stuff out there in the open. The editors talking about how frantic they were, just how they had too much footage, that it was all ad-libbed. So they were back with a new set of directors on Han Solo, ad-libbing, doing the same thing. And they brought in somebody else and they said, you're going to have, and I believe it was going to be Larry Kasdan. That's what it sounded like. And they said no. And so they got fired. Is just Gareth Edwards said, okay. And they said no. Oh. That's the difference of what happened. So here they are with this, they're maybe not sure who they're hiring is the right people. I still think they need to hire people with stronger storytelling cred. And, we're all really excited for Last Jedi, and I'm terrified for episode 9 with Trevorrow because he doesn't have good storytelling cred. And then, we had his Book of Henry, and that's a whole nother issue. And everybody was saying before, when Book of Henry came out, that Kathleen Kennedy was far more worried about the Han Solo movie. And then 2 days later, the firing happened. So I think they just had to sit down and go, whoa, but she has to get that movie back on track. And then she can go back and get the other movies and whatever it's going to be. But it was still kind of like, boom.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn what's it going to be? Who's going to be directing? What's going on?
Well, and I mean, I was shocked that they did not reveal what the final Star Wars story film was going to be, because at D23 Expo, that's where they reveal their movie timeline. Yep. I mean, that's traditionally at every D23 Expo, they've done that for Disney films, live action Disney films, animated Disney films, and also Marvel and Star Wars. So yeah.
Way down the timeline.
Yeah. Way down
the time. Yeah.
Like years.
So it was kind of crazy. Definitely a little bit of wow. Yeah. But Ron Howard seems, I don't know. I feel like he's got the enthusiasm and he's obviously experienced. He is in there to do what directors need to do. You don't have to tell them how to do anything for sure. And he like showing us stuff like this is like the water bottle on the Han Solo movie. Then we get to see cool things like Lando's wardrobe and more clothes on characters. So.
Well, you know what I found interesting? I did hear that, you know, when Ron Howard took over and like his first day on shooting and stuff, that the cast applauded because they were so happy. I mean, a lot of the stuff we've heard has just been, you know, the way that Lord and Miller were working, like a lot of the cast they were having some trouble with maybe, you know, connecting with the directors and stuff. And I don't know. I trust Ron Howard. I really, really like, obviously, like Apollo 13, all the Robert Langdon movies. I can watch those every day, all day. So I'm good. I'm like, do your thing.
Yeah, I think as far as functionally, he knows what he's got to do, and he's been a fan most of his life, and I actually feel his last decade of movies have been kind of on, but it's a Lawrence Kasdan script. Come on, and that was the issue. They weren't shooting the script, and the breaking point was they thought they were hired to do a comedy, and they were hired to do a Star Wars movie with humor, and there is a difference. And it was Alden Ehrenreich that they're saying, the actor who's playing Han Solo, who went and said, no, can you ask Kathleen Kennedy to look at the footage and really look at it, because if it didn't go well, who were they going to blame for Han Solo not being right?
Alden.
Yes.
You'd have never been able to live that down.
Yeah. So he felt like it wasn't coming together in the way the script and probably what he had talked to early on with the team about what it was going to be. So that makes me feel better that he, you know, if people haven't seen him act, you have to see him act. So he's like really, really talented. And I feel like if you understand that Han Solo is he's not a comedic character. We laugh at the situations he gets into and the way he deals with them. He's not funny.
Right.
So, you know, it's just the things he does are funny because it's just goofy. It's just, he's always a hot mess and trying to get out of it.
Nice.
Now, the past 3 Fridays, we have gotten some Dave Filoni fun. That's what I'm gonna call it. He's been messing with us a little bit. He's been releasing these drawings that he's doing along with some dialogue. And so the first one that we got was between Ahsoka and Bendu. And this particular interaction, as he says, is something that took place but didn't ever, happen on screen. And so essentially, she meets the Bendu and they're talking, and this is prior to her encounter with Vader. And he says something along the lines of, you'll die. And she says, I'm going to die. And he goes, will you? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't just say that. It's pretty funny and actually very interesting. And then on the 14th of July, we got what we call the Chimera, which was interaction between like what Han, my God, what Kanan and Hera's relationship kind of was and has gone through. And I don't think there was any dialogue between the two of them with that one. It was just sort of him talking about the two of them together as a couple.
Yeah, he says Kanan and Hera's strength is that they lift each other up. Everyone was young once, and maybe this is how it went for a time. I was like, oh, it shows them all happy and everything. And do you remember when we first started watching Rebels, and even Vanessa Marshall was like, Space Married? What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like, oh, here's a picture of them young and wild and happy and carefree. And then I saw that and I was like, Kanan's going to die.
Oh, yeah. Kanan's totally going to die.
There were a lot of people that was their reaction. It's like he put that up, we're all like, yeah, Kanan's gonna die.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty darn set on the whole Kanan dying thing. I'm like, well, that's gonna happen. Let's just see how. And then
Friday.
And then on July 21st, so this just happened, we got Ahsoka and Kanan in an interaction and learning that they actually knew each other prior to this and had maybe done some lightsaber training as Padawans and things like that. And this one was a cool image. I love this image because it's Ahsoka handing Kanan his lightsaber. And she said, I don't remember exactly what she says, but it was something along the lines of just be the Jedi that you were meant to be, or something like that. Can't remember exactly.
Here, it says, Kanan says, I've been teaching Ezra as best I can. I want him to be the Jedi I'm not, that I couldn't be. And Ahsoka says, and I want you to be the Jedi that you are.
Yeah. It's so cool. But why is he doing to us? Why? Because I know these mean something. They mean something. It's not just fun.
Yep.
And then StarWars.com tweeted the picture of the wolf and said, not Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if the intention was that she was like that we picked up something and it wasn't what they intended, I think they're trying to get ahead of people were thinking that, but we don't want to disappoint you, so we're going ahead and like saying, because we had the last episode we talked about the image that he had put up with the owl and the Ahsoka and the wolf and not Ahsoka and all that stuff. Well, StarWars.com even tweeted it out, so I feel like they're trying to say, okay, people, redirect. Like redirect. So I don't know where to redirect, but
yeah,
I feel like we're getting the message at least that they're paying attention. And if people have not listened to was it Jonah Marie's Rebels chat, is that the name of it, with Dave Filoni? Yeah, and her mom talking to Dave Filoni is like the funnest interview. I like her mom just saying, Dave, I see, what are you doing to me, Dave, after every episode.
That's cute. Aww.
And then we got Callus's first name. So now he's not, if his first name is not Hot. It's not Hot. His middle name is Hot. So he's Alexander Hot Callus.
Alexander. Okay.
I'm still going to call him Hot. All right, so let's talk about some stuff. We've been fangirl flailing a lot lately. We're going to talk about D23 Expo first. There was so much stuff that came out of this. Trisha, what is one of the things that you've been fangirl flailing about from D23 Expo?
Well, I actually learned this from Sarah because she put it in our show notes, and I fangirl flailed. So I
and you stole it.
I did, because she has a lot of stuff. So I'm like, I can just take this. So, but it's about the STEM and diversity. And Disney's been hiring executives to kind of work on this. And I feel like the whole of the information we got more women and more people of color. We're seeing books coming out about Rose and her sister and all that kind of stuff. But Sarah, what did this PR person tell you?
Okay, so Richard and I were at the Disney Consumer Products Pavilion at the D23 Expo, and it's a really cool pavilion with like a whole bunch of setups of like little rooms that have all their products in it. So in one section was like all the Star Wars stuff, but particularly the Force Awakens dolls were on display, and some products that will be showcased at Target were on display. And like, you have Pottery Barn Star Wars furniture along with these, like all this cool stuff that's all Star Wars. And so Richard and I wanted to talk to a person there, because usually you can go up to a booth and say, hey, we're media, we'd like to talk with someone. And unfortunately, they could not talk on the record, so we couldn't do an audio interview with them. But the woman we spoke with, she was a PR representative there, and she had just moved to a department and a new job, and her position was focused on representation in Disney consumer products as well as STEM products. And what she's tasked to do is get these products and the whole idea of representation out there to the world. And so not only are they focused on having people work on things that are, representational of our world today, but they're also focused on that the products themselves display this. So, one of the examples of this is there was an iPad set up, and right behind it was a Beauty and the Beast beauty, what's her name? Belle doll. And she was standing up on her own. And when you played this game on your iPad that taught you coding, she would actually move. So so you would if you typed in the proper code, and pulled the proper things in place, like it was meant for a little kid, she would go forward one step and do a twirl, something like that. So that was pretty cool. And then just the fact that they have products that are, Star Wars that are marketed to girls. So for example, you guys saw this. I posted on my Instagram a picture of a pillow that one side was pink and sparkly and the other side had this image of Leia and all the Force Awakens girls, kind of in silhouette. And the whole pillow was the shape of a Rebel Alliance symbol. Right?
Nice.
Yeah. And that thing got a lot of play on Instagram. And actually, when we spoke with this PR representative, she recognized our name because she had seen that particular Instagram post and that it had blown up. So that was super exciting. So it's just cool to know that they are, there are people who are involved in promoting all of this.
There is hope for a pink lightsaber.
Yes. Yes.
Someday.
I would say
someday.
Definitely. So that's really exciting.
All right, Teresa. I know what your first one is, and I want to talk about it too. So.
Okay, so there was a whole bunch of information released about Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Sarah, I know you were at this panel, so you'll be able to paint a better picture, but essentially Vanellope von Schweetz is now a Disney princess because she got to have a sleepover with Disney princesses, and then on top of everything else, all of the original voices of the princesses came back and reprised their roles, and then they all came out on stage, and I wish I had been there because I would have fallen out of my chair. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so excited.
Yes. I was in that animation panel, and I'm excited about Wreck-It Ralph 2 already. I know a lot of people aren't, but the first Wreck-It Ralph is an amazing film.
It is.
And yeah, it's amazing. And the whole interplay between Vanellope and Ralph, it's just the cutest relationship. And the fact that this particular scene that they showed us, this clip from Wreck-It Ralph 2, was, I think, almost 10 minutes long. And yeah, because it doesn't begin with the princesses. It begins earlier than that with this new character, Yes, voiced by Taraji P. Henson. She is taking Ralph and Vanellope into the internet and kind of showing them around. And she's like, here, let's go to Oh My Disney. This is a good place. And so even before they meet the princesses, all of a sudden, they're looking around and we're taking it in through the eyes of Ralph and Vanellope. And you see a Buzz Lightyear and all these kids are punching him and hitting him and changing things on his what is it called? His costume and stuff. And that's if you think about it, if you're sitting in front of your computer and you're doing, you're looking at a picture of Buzz and you're changing his outfit, that's what they're doing, only it was real because they're in the internet. And you go out to a close up of Buzz and he's like, oh, not again. When the next kid comes up to change his outfit.
Aww.
I know. And the funniest thing about this is now that Disney has bought Star Wars, they can use Star Wars as much as they want. So in the distance, Ralph and Vanellope are in Oh My Disney, and in the distance they see this cordoned off section with a bunch of kids right in front of it, and there's these First Order stormtroopers guarding this area, and all of a sudden the princesses come out and they're all waving, and then they go back inside and Yes is like, oh, those are the Disney princesses, they're special. And Vanellope's like, I want to mess with them. Can I go mess with them? And Wreck-It Ralph's like, no, don't go mess with them. But it's Vanellope. So she glitches into their green room past the First Order stormtroopers. And I kid you not, I was laughing nonstop for about 7 minutes straight. Tears were streaming down my face. I was about to fall on the floor because just everything that these princesses said was totally in character for what they would say to her. Like, it was just joke after joke after joke. It was the funniest effing thing I'd ever seen in my life. I know this is, I know it was hilarious. And then I looked at Richard and I kept on I was like, is this happening right now? Because it was so I can't even remember all the jokes, of course, but there was one moment where the princesses are all talking and all of a sudden Merida breaks in and starts saying something. And you can't understand her because she's in this Scottish accent. And so, what is it? Vanellope, it cuts to a shot of the princesses and they're all looking very, shocked looks on their face, and Vanellope's like, do you understand what she just said? And one of the princesses is like, oh no, we don't understand her. She's from that other studio. and only if you're a really big Disney fan would you get that joke, but if you do get it, it's the most hilarious thing ever. And then, then of course there's the whole sleepover portion. So the princesses are all looking at Vanellope. It's like, oh, are you a princess? And they say something about how their fathers were something, it was all their past was the same. And I can't remember, and we both have no mothers. We all have no mothers. And they look around, they're all like, yep, no moms. Oh, you must be a Disney princess.
Aww. So at least we're starting to acknowledge that.
Yes. Oh my God.
I love it when Disney cracks on themselves.
Yes.
That is the absolute best thing. They acknowledge all of their shortcomings, and the things that they did that weren't necessarily the best. Mm-hmm. And that's hilarious. And I just, in my head, I hear Vanellope going, you all will be executed. At the end of Wreck-It Ralph.
It's hilarious. Oh, and then C-3PO sticks his head in because he's the princess's handler.
Oh my God.
Because he knows how to deal with princesses. It was so funny. And then,
Sarah, I would just like to say you're welcome because you weren't going to go to that panel.
I know.
So I bugged you about it.
I know. And yeah, I'm so glad we got in. And so thank you. And one last thing, because right after that, as you said, Teresa, the princesses, all the voices were brought out on stage. And I am sitting in my seat crying as they're announcing, each princess is announcing the next one to come out. And I'm like, Richard, it's my childhood. And I was sitting there bawling. And there's this bed of music playing, so I thought at one point they were all gonna sing, which they never.
That would have been great,
right? Which they never did, but it was still really awesome to see them all there. And I was, oh my God,
They voiced the soundtrack of your life.
Yes, so I cannot wait until this clip comes out. I'm sure they'll show it probably as a trailer, honestly, in theaters, because it will bring people in.
I hope not.
You don't, right? Really?
I hope not, because that's one of those scenes that's one of those great scenes you talk about afterwards. You need to go see this movie because of this, I don't want it to be where they give it all away. It's
the Zootopia DMV scene. I mean, that scene is still funny. And
it's true. It's still very funny.
It's funny because
there's so much happening that you have to see it several times to get all the jokes because everyone's laughing too hard. So I didn't even hear all the jokes. So thank you for
all right. Well,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll talk about this last thing that I have here that I got to fangirl flail about from D23 Expo. There is going to be a Tron ride coming to Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, and this is the Tron ride from Shanghai. And I've heard so much about it, and I'm so glad that the Speedway is not going away and that they're finding a place to just put this right in between Space Mountain and the Speedway. But I cannot wait to get my butt on a light cycle and just get that Daft Punk music in my ears and just be like, "Whirr!" Like, yes. Oh my God.
I'm excited. I mean, I'm not particularly thrilled about Tron. It's not like that whole movie isn't exciting to me, but I'm excited because the coolest part about Tron is the light cycle stuff. So I think it would be cool to do that as well. So yay, I'm in.
It'd be fun.
Tron was way cooler to me as a child, and then when I saw when they brought out the next one, as a little adult, I was like, So I just try to remember it as a child.
Yes. It's like one of those. Like Hook is an awesome film that I remember from my childhood memory. If you try to watch it again, it's like, it's not as good as I remember.
I know it totally is. It totally is. Sorry, I disagree.
Okay.
Because I'm like Rufy. Oh,
I know.
Rufy. Oh, like all day long. That's great.
Yay.
So, Trisha, what else did you have?
Character posters from The Last Jedi, because
those were pretty cool.
All day, like trying to put them, like who's facing what way and who's aligned and who's not, and then you realize that some of them's heads are one way and their bodies are the other, so you can't even do that. But I think they're beautiful, and the red kind of scares me.
Yes,
Daisy
it
Ridley
does.
posted hers on face, but yeah, she said little Raid, REY''D, Riding Hood was what she posted for hers.
Aww.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah. The red scares me. So.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw these like on a phone screen, and because they didn't announce this at the panel at all, and to me it looks like a Rorschach test. Is that what it is?
Kind of
Rorschach?
at the
The
bottom.
ink blot test.
Yes.
But then everybody's head's cut off.
I know. That's creepy.
Yeah. Well, the Force Awakens, everybody's eye was obscured. Remember with the lightsaber on their character posters?
Yes.
So, yeah. My favorite was when so they were coming out one at a time on Twitter. Different people were, releasing their own. And I kept clicking on Daisy Ridley's Facebook page, and then it came up. And when we had and then John Boyega, and then finally Oscar Isaacs came up. And like within 5 minutes, someone's had photoshopped them together.
Wow.
It was like, gotta love shippers.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love shippers. And then Sarah and I kind of have like a one together, which is Pine Nuts. We can't help it. A Wrinkle in Time. Chris Pine has gone from the son of many, many men in movies to now the father of she's not a Disney princess, but she's going to save the world. And I'm really excited to see Wrinkle in Time, and the trailer was awesome. And I liked Oprah going, you have a poster and you have a poster.
You get a poster. Yes. Okay, so I have a question for you, because I was the only one in my circle of friends who was freaking out about this and really excited, because as a kid, I remember reading these books, and I know it's more than a trilogy, but when I initially read them, it was the trilogy of A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. And I just remember being so engrossed in these novels. Meg Murray was like me, because she was awkward and shy and just like didn't really know how to carry herself. And throughout these books, she learns so much about herself. And the fact that these novels were just so imaginative. And I was like in my own head, I just had such a vivid like picture in my head of how the story went. So do you guys have a similar like relationship with these novels?
I've never read A Wrinkle in Time, so I've heard of it. I just never read it, but I love the trailer. I was like, "Whoo, this looks cool."
Okay.
I mean, I read it a long time ago. It wasn't one of those ones that, I thought, I want to see that as a movie. But then again, I'm from a generation that didn't think that we were going to expect to see anything with a female lead in a movie. So in general, I just like I'm excited. I love everything that Ava DuVernay's done. And I'm excited for the people who are in it. And I think it's beautiful. just what we've seen so far. So, and of course, Chris Pine.
Yes.
And of course, Chris Pine and Oprah, everything she's ever done, as an actress has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Mrs. Healing. I mean, all these people are like so talented. So, I mean, they're definitely bringing it. But yeah, there were a lot of people who were like, oh, I don't even know what that's about. But
right.
There were definitely a lot of people in your, like, I'm so excited to see this. I remember it from my childhood. I want this to be, and actually Sandra is doing a read through of A Wrinkle in Time. So if people want to read it together with people, you can definitely check out the Facebook page. I'm sure she'll put something up.
Awesome. Yeah, I need to do that because it's been several years since I've read it. And just watching the trailer, I remember bits and pieces from the book, but I don't remember how the pieces fit together. So I want to read it again. Yay.
And before we move on to San Diego Comic-Con, I do want to know, was The Lion King live action as amazing as people said it was?
Oh my gosh, you guys. So like in the live action panel, the last thing, they did that whole one more thing for the Disney portion. And Jon Favreau came on stage and he was like, last time I was at D23 Expo, I got to show you footage from The Jungle Book. And that was my testing ground because that was the very first time he had shown anyone anything. And it got a great reaction. And I was there then too. And so he was excited. Like he came out on stage. He was pumped. He was excited. And he was like, all right, I'm going to show you this. And I, based on your reaction, that's where we're going to go. So, The Lion King, the whole opening scene that basically in the 90s, if you remember in the 90s, they showed as a trailer to the original Lion King, they showed that whole opening montage scene of Circle of Life as the trailer. And so that is exactly what they showed here, shot for shot, only it was live action. And I'm doing the dink dink fingers because we obviously know it's CGI. However, it looked like live action. So you see the sun, the sunrise, and you see the little shots of the birds, and you see the little shots of the little ants walking across, and you see the I'm getting so excited. You see the giraffes, and the music is playing, and it's a different recording. It's not the exact same music, but it sounds the same. It's just a better recording. And then they zoom in, after showing all the animals, they zoom in on little Simba, little baby kitty, little kitty man, and the kitty, and it opens his little eyes, and then he sneezes, you guys. He sneezes. Aww. It's the cutest. It's like, oh my, I can't even. It's the cutest thing you have ever seen in your life. And then Rafiki takes the little, he opens up, I don't know, it's like the exact same thing. It's shot for shot and the music is building and then you get to the end and it goes boom and everyone's sitting there and like tears are like streaming down our faces, at least my face, because it just
did a lot of crying.
I did. Well, you know what? You're overtired. That had something to do with it too. but I was like sitting there like, I want to see this so bad. It's amazing. So yeah, I can't. And then when we went to the parks later the next day and I wanted to get that little baby Simba in the wrapped, little blanket thing, that they have for babies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those little plush. I didn't yet, but I still might because it reminds me of that moment. I was like, oh. So
when I was in Tanzania last month, I was kept playing the music and I was waiting for the animals to do that. And they never did that. Like they didn't all start converging on
Pride Rock
in one. Yeah, no, it didn't happen. So I'm really disappointed.
Aw, why not?
Did you see a little cub sneeze?
I saw over 100 lions.
Oh wow!
Whoa!
Yeah,
you saw a pride of lions?
I saw a pride of lions. Yes, several. But none of them did that. There weren't a lot of babies either. It's a little bit late in. I guess they're
the season.
Not really. They're not into that right now. So they're not into that. But yeah, no, they didn't do that. We did get to watch 2 lions from one pride go stalk the whole thing a zebra, and everybody's like, we're gonna see a kill, and I'm like, I'm rooting for a zebra, and the zebras got away. So we got to see the whole thing without any blood and gore. Yeah.
But actually, you really shouldn't root for the zebra because the lions, they don't eat that much.
Well, but they had eaten. Most of the pride was laying fat and sassy under a tree. So this was just sort of like two of the younger ones, like, yeah, we're gonna go try this, and all the rest of them just watch. So I knew they weren't that hungry, or they would have all gotten up.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, well, that makes me feel a little better. A little bit better. Okay, well, let's jump over to San Diego Comic-Con, which I know that, Sarah, you've been super busy, so you didn't get to see a lot of this stuff. So, Trisha, I know you're going to talk about books. So, before you jump into books, I'm going to mention another Porg thing.
It's a book.
Well, I know, but you're not going to talk about it. So I took it. Ha ha. You didn't write it down. There is a book coming. It is a picture book, and it is called Chewie and the Porgs. And oh my God, I'm so excited. I have already said that this is #1 priority for Star Wars Bookworms to review as soon as it comes out. Because
they definitely did not do the missing the opportunity on the dancing Groot with the Porgs. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Chewie and the Porgs. Okay, now you can go into books. Go ahead.
I can go into Chewie and the Porgs. I think we're going to see Chewie with the Porgs. That's definitely what we're going to see. Yeah.
That would be adorable. How big are Porgs?
Well, I think they show them on R2, so in the StarWars.com thing. And there's also a shot from Jedi Pinball that was on Walmart.com that shows the Porgs on R2. So there is some stuff if you want perspective. So they're probably like a third of R2 or maybe a half of R2.
Okay.
Yeah. He was sitting on R2's head. So that's kind of why I think Chewie and R2 get to go with Rey, and then they get to hang out by the Falcon. We see that one shot, and this is a reel of Chewbacca sitting kind of sad, probably thinking about Han Solo. And then I imagine the Porgs come and say, hey, don't be sad, mister. Be happy.
Oh.
But I am really excited for the books. One, because my friend Jason Fry is writing a novelization for the
I know, that's so exciting.
For The Last Jedi?
Yes. So,
nice.
And we interviewed him on Fangirls Going Rogue. He's one of the nicest guys. He's probably the hardest working prose writer in Star Wars. So Teresa Loves Atlas that he worked on with Dan Wallace, and he worked on, Journey to the Force Awakens. He wrote the Rebels, books,
The Servants of the Empire books are amazing. They are so good. If you haven't read them, you need to. They're stunning.
Yeah, and he hasn't written really, other than the nonfiction, what I would say, those type of books are adult, but he's never written an adult novel. So I was really excited to see him get this chance to kind of step up. And then he wrote on his Tumblr about how every Star Wars book novelization, how they've affected him. And I think he'll do a great job. So that I was really excited to see him. But just in general, when we talk about was going there's no female creators in the books and comics. We got a lot more stuff, female characters and female creators in the book. So I was like, woohoo, go. And maybe a little bit of those new hires or moving people over in Disney consumer products that are looking out for diversity behind in front might also be helping in their, I've been talked about that for a long time. And this is actually one of the first things where I was like, the whole book release, I was like, okay, you guys are finally putting women out there being the creators on one more step. We got film and television to go, but they have long lead time. So everything Journey to
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi there's so many books. I won't even go into all of them. We'll put a link, but The Princess Leia of Alderaan by Claudia Gray, it says there'll be a lot of Breha and Bale, and that was Mediocre Jedi saying that on Twitter from the panel.
Now, remind me who Breha is?
Her mom!
Oh, that's right.
The
Okay.
Disney princess has no mom!
Now she does. See? Isn't that bad? I didn't even know her mom's name.
Yeah, Breha is the woman you see when Bale shows up at the end of Revenge of the Sith, and Obi-Wan shows up with Luke, and Bale shows up. That's Breha. Everybody should know that name. It's kind of a crime that it's not a name that people would recognize, and a lot of people don't recognize it. But yes, it's her mom. I think her mom was probably a badass. That's my guess, and I'm guessing that Claudia Gray will probably write it that way too. So
nice. Oh, that's exciting.
So all of that was really cool. Also, I don't know what episode it is off the top of my head, but Star Wars Bookworms did a comprehensive look at all of the books coming during the Journey to the Last Jedi. When was this? I guess it must have been after Celebration when we kind of got a lot of that news or something like that. I can't remember when, but I will find the episode for you guys. But we talked about almost all of them. Nice. So there's a ton, yeah. And there's a lot focused on women, and the Luke book that's coming out, that's like a YA book, is I'm really excited for that one also. And of course, Phasma by Delilah Dawson. I'm really, really pumped for that. I can't wait. So some of the other stuff that we got right as San Diego Comic-Con was starting, there's a whole collection of Her Universe items that were being sold at San Diego Comic-Con that became available on the Her Universe website. They include skirts and cardigans based on Naboo, also a tank and a dress based on Endor, a raincoat, some Empire Strikes Back stuff, all kinds of things. But there was also this very quiet drop that happened from ThinkGeek and Her Universe. And if you guys remember last year, ThinkGeek and Her Universe partnered for a 50th anniversary Star Trek fashion collection with like a blazer and some like high-waisted A-line skirts and things like that. This is a Star Wars workwear line that is exclusively to ThinkGeek, and it has a Star Wars blazer that's black with white piping, with the lining has in white the Rebel and Imperial logos, so you can roll up your sleeves and show off your geek flair. There's three blouses that are true blouses. You know, some of them are like more of like a silky fabric with like the zipper at the back of the neck and some scalloping and things. There's one that's like a button-up long sleeve with ships, Star Wars ships on it. There's one that's like a tank with Star Wars logos on it. And there's an R2-D2 one with like a repeating R2 pattern. There was a new pair of leggings, a scarf, an R2-D2 dress. I have a wonderful dad, and he knew I needed new clothes for school, and so I got all three blouses and the blazers. I'm like, yes,
nice
work clothes. I'm so excited. Did you guys see the land speeder that is made by Radio Flyer?
Wait.
What?
Wait. Before we go, can I ask if each of you, if you had to pick one? Of
the new collections from San Diego?
Yeah, what would you pick from the Her Universe?
The indoor dress. That was mine.
With the purple?
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah?
No question, it would be the Bespin Leia dress, because that I've always wanted. It's my favorite.
Are you talking about the images she showed?
Yes.
At D23 Expo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, we're talking. Did you see the collections that were released on heruniverse.com that you can actually buy right now?
Oh, that I can buy right now? No. So if I had to pick something in the near future that Her Universe is dropping, I'm changing your
It's changing the rules.
So the rules, yes. And yes.
Got it.
There's nothing you can do about it. So, yes. Sorry. It would be the Bespin Leia dress with like true embroidery on it that looks like that. I just that's my favorite outfit ever of Leia. Ever.
All right, Trisha, what about you?
I'm really torn. That the Endor dress really strikes me, but I like the Naboo sweater. All right. I'm going to go with the Naboo sweater.
The Naboo cardigan. Yeah, that one, I actually kind of really want that one too.
I have like almost all the cardigans because I'm always cold at work. So, and they seem to work. Like you could put them on. I remember I went to a engineering function and I had the black AT-AT sweater, the one with the AT-ATs on it, and I put it on and I was like, oh, I gotta wear it. It matches what I'm wearing and I'm cold. And somebody's like, dude, is that an AT-AT on your sweater? I'm like, mm-hmm. And I was like, that's so cool. So I didn't get the like, you're such a dork or an eye roll. So it worked.
Nice.
Yeah, the one thing I like about the Naboo cardigan is that it's long sleeve. I'm not a big fan of the 3/4 length sleeves because I need my whole arm covered because I'm one of those people. So I'm excited for the Naboo cardigan. I think it looks really, really pretty. I want to see it in person so bad. That's my only issue with some of this stuff is that I don't get to see it in person.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I really want to be able to see it in person so I can tell if I'm really going to like it or not.
Yeah, so. I saw that the Naboo skirt is not the stretchy waist.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah, because though I love that the last skirt had the stretchy waist and someone noted that this one didn't. I'm like, oh, darn.
That's a beautiful color, though.
It is. Yeah. It's very, very pretty. Okay, now moving on to this really cool thing that I can't have.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Naboo skirt. It's got the Sound of Music scene, you guys. Oh.
Yes, it does.
Oh my god. Okay.
That's so funny.
All right, if I had to pick one, it would be the Naboo skirt.
All right, there you go.
Not breaking the rules. Okay. Well, while I'm going to switch over to this next thing, since we're talking about her universe, we do know this now, which is very exciting, that the winners of the Her Universe fashion show will be designing a Disney princess collection for Hot Topic.
Woohoo!
So this time around, it's going to be Disney princess. So we've gotten Star Wars, we've gotten Wonder Woman, and now Disney princesses.
Rapunzel.
So that's pretty cool.
Rapunzel.
By the way, everything in the Her Universe line that people really liked is back in stock. So for Wonder Woman.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, the Wonder Woman jacket, the dress, and the two dresses are back in stock. Her Universe tweeted that.
Woo-hoo.
They did?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Lasso dress is here.
So you guys can finish the episode. I have stuff I to do here.
Got some shopping to do.
Got shopping. Okay, now I'm very excited about this next thing because I wish I was small enough to actually be able to ride in it. The Land Speeder by Radio Flyer that can actually be driven. And I wish I was small enough. I mean, I'm small, but I'm not small enough.
Are you under 130 pounds?
Yeah.
Then you can ride it.
There you go.
I can. Ooh. I have to tell Greg I want this so bad.
I think they need to change the Magic Kingdom cars thing to just Land Speeders.
That would be great.
I think I saw Brian Sims had the video from some kids driving around dressed in Jedi clothes outside of San Diego Comic-Con, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Why did I not have this as a child? Pretty much everybody on the Sci-Fi San Diego Comic-Con live show that they had that was on live, they were all like, oh yeah, we're all going to get it. Like every adult on the panel. So
this is just like a take my money thing.
Yeah, which is funny because it was Zachary Levi hosting, so I kept going, Flynn Rider.
Yes. Oh, can I just say he is hilarious? Because I was in the Tangled the series panel and at D23 Expo, and I was in the front row, and Jeremy Jordan was in that panel too of Newsies fame, right?
Oh my gosh.
Mandy Moore as well, and the whole panel, whenever anyone would like scream for Jeremy Jordan, Zachary Levi would get all fake like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys are doing that. Like he'd get all fake mad. It was hilarious because he wanted all the attention. Oh, by the way, 15 minutes of that panel, I play the audio in our latest episode of Skywalking Through Neverland, 177.
Ooh, I'll have to listen to it.
Yes, it's priceless because we finally get to hear from the actors themselves what it's like, making these characters again and being in the series. So it's really funny. Like, I just love it. It was so fun. Yeah.
I love the series. Well, so Sarah, since you weren't there were some action figures.
Okay.
That Teresa and I are jonesing over, and my action figures are the Jaina, and it is as good as I hoped.
Yeah, it looks really good.
They didn't go with the orange flight suit around her neck. They didn't go with something else. I don't know, Jaina in a Jedi robe. They went with a black, really awesome looking flight suit. I liked it. I like what they did. So thank you, Hasbro, after we've poked on you some. I did say you did a good job with Jaina. Now, here's my only request, Hasbro. Do not put one Jaina in a box and I can't get it because the fans voted for it, so we should be able to get Jaina.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, change your distribution.
Exactly.
Think about it. Think about what you're doing. Hashtag where's Jaina is coming for you.
Accept not sufficient interest in it. So we expressed interest in order to rally to get her made. So, and then General Leia Organa is an action figure, and I just thank you very much. So, and Teresa, I know you have one too.
Yep, there is a Hera Black Series figure coming, and it looks amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they did a good job on the Hera one. I kept looking at pictures. I was like, oh wow, that looks really good.
Mm-hmm. It is. It does look really good. So, distribution from Hasbro, if you're listening, fix your SHIT.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, we do not want to see Constable Zubio still on the rack.
Seriously.
So, last thing that I liked from San Diego Comic-Con was the Thor trailer. We could not see the Black Panther stuff. They did not show us, nor did they show us the Avengers Infinity War that you got to see, which they apparently showed again.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Which I have seen. I have seen it.
Oh, you're a sassy girl.
Well, I did not film it and then post it on Twitter. That was other people, but I did watch it.
Anyway, the Thor trailer, the Thor movies have been, if it's your thing, it's your thing. This one,
I liked them.
It looks totally awesome.
Yeah.
Hulk talks, y'all. Oh my gosh, he talks. It's amazing.
Yes, he's the whole thing, just the look of it, that it's in the 80s, and I think it's Captain Marvel is going to be in the 90s. So I like that they're totally going back to kind of doing some retro stuff. But even though Thor is not in the 80s, it just looks like they're just like, we're going to make it look like something from the 80s.
You mean like the titles and stuff?
The colors, the hair. I mean, do you see his hair?
Well, that's the only thing I'm like, but Thor, but his long locks, it's gone. It's all shorn.
Yeah, but it sort of just shows that he's in a different place, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And Kate Blanchett. But anyway, this is like the next level. Marvel's taken to the next level, which is kind of just, people talk about letting directors put their stamp on it. This is it. It doesn't look Marvel-fied. It looks different, and they took a little bit of a spin. And I'm like, yes, please Star Wars do this.
Nice.
Yeah. So should we do social media? Roll it, Rod Dellinger?
Shout it out to the social media from Teresa and Trisha and Sarah. Shout it out, fangirl shout outs.
If you want to talk about Star Wars or Marvel or Justice League, you can come and be excited about it. We really won't poop on your parade.
No, we won't. We hope that you change our minds, and we also hope that the movie is better than we feel like it's going to be.
Exactly. You can come into our Facebook group and talk about it and ask people opinions and recommendations. And this was my favorite. So Regina came into our Facebook group and asked for book recommendations for Star Wars books. And she was actually asking, but she got a recommendation from Sandra, which wasn't the book she was asking about, which was Lost Stars. So she tried it. And guess what she said? Lost Stars by Claudia Gray was suggested to me, and honestly, this is the best book ever. It's everything I love: romance, action, and Star Wars. So that was at Regina Lynette, and we're so glad that happened in our Facebook group.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do some emails here. I'll read this first one.
Okay.
Says, hello, fangirls. There's a long list of terrific female characters in the Star Wars written universe. I could make a case for each of them deserving a live-action treatment. I will list only 3 here. For your consideration, Mara Jade, is this Lumia or Lumaya? Lumaya, and then Winter. And so, all good. I don't know much about those 3 because I never made it that far in the expanded universe. When you try, I'll back up. When you try to start reading the Star Wars Legends novels and you decide you want to read them in order, and then they keep adding more books to the beginning of the timeline, you basically never make it towards the end. That's just, how it works. So
or towards the halfway point.
Or yeah. I know who these all are and respect them all. Just don't really know much about them. So Trisha, what do you think? Oh, and this is from Jeff Myers.
Yes, Jeff Myers was responding to our last character discussion. So Mara Jade, I would love. And a lot of people are like, well, you can't have Mara Jade because of whatever. Maybe she's not married to Luke Skywalker. Mara Jade is her own character. She is independent of Luke Skywalker, and her existence should not be because of Luke Skywalker. So, yes, I would love to see Mara Jade somewhere in the story. Lumaya, well,
I don't remember who's that.
She's the one who ended up coming back. She came back out of the comic. She was Luke Skywalker's girlfriend, and then she in the at the end there, and I think Luke ended up chopping off her head or something. Is that how it went down? Yeah. So she became a Sith. She was not a nice lady, but she's an interesting character, and a lot of people like her. So, and Winter. Yeah. Winter. I love Winter. Winter should have been Evan. I like Evan, but I remember when everybody saw the first image of Evan from the comics, and people were like, "Oh, it's Winter, it's Winter," and then it was like, "It's not Winter," and I'm like, "How can you do a white-haired character and it's Leia's friend and it's not Winter?" Okay. Yeah. That's kind of when I was like, oh man, they're really poo-pooing on the expanded universe fans. But all those characters are expanded universe, and I would love to see any of them appear in Star Wars. Mara Jade would be an awesome live action.
I think, she would be amazing. And I wish, I never thought of her in the context of maybe not with Luke, but I do love the fact that in the expanded universe, she was actually made to be at that scene in Tatooine, the sail barge scene. So that has always stuck with me, and I would love to see that scene live action played out like in Mara's head the way it was supposed to go. For her, you know what I mean? Exactly.
And then we had Diana send us an email. She asked a couple questions, and I just wanted us to talk about one. Okay. And that was her second question. Even though we don't know much about her, we do know that Rose is going to go on a mission with Finn in The Last Jedi, and will have the most screen time out of any character, I think, other than the big 3. What do you think Rose's role will be in the next episode? I'm very excited to meet Rose because not only is she a woman of color with a main role in a Star Wars movie, Rose just seems like a really interesting character. May the Force be with you, Diana.
All I'm going to say, because I'm not going to answer this question directly, but all I'm going to say is I hope she doesn't get phasmid. Okay. So now I feel like I need to turn off my audio so I don't hear anything that you guys say.
I don't know anything about what's going to happen. I mean, we know Rose will go on a mission with Finn, essentially the question. But I think, Sarah, you met somebody who was cosplaying as Rose at
D23
Expo. So what did she say?
Okay. So first of all, this woman we met, we were waiting for this live action panel for 8 hours or whatever. It was really early. We were in line for coffee, and 2 people in front of me, I see someone in a jumpsuit, and she turned around, and I was like, oh, hey, she's cosplaying Rose. And she was an Asian woman with bangs cosplaying Rose. And so we actually interviewed her on YouTube for our YouTube channel.
This is like amazing. Like, it's an Asian character, a major character in Star Wars. And it's like, Oh my God, she not only is she like a young Asian and the lead,
and a female,
because
we got an Asian character in
a
Rogue
woman
One,
of color, yeah, it's so
but
great.
you're the first female Asian.
Yeah, and then she has bangs too. So I was telling her like, there's not many like if there's an Asian character, she doesn't have bangs. Like she either has short hair, a streak, or like long hair with no bangs. And then I was like, I could cosplay this and look like I don't have to do anything. I don't need to like get a wig. I'm like, oh, so convenient. And it's also like so awesome to see someone who looks just like you. Like I feel like her, and like great thing about Kelly Marie Tran is that she's not like the skinny stick supermodel. Like she is just a regular person.
Yeah.
And it kind of
the everyday girl.
Yeah, the everyday girl, and you kind of relate to that too, because I just feel like that too. And I watch her, like I saw her the picture, and then her on stage talking about it. It's just like this is so amazing that like Star Wars is breaking barriers for women of color and like for an Asian character, the Asian woman, and it's just great because it's like you see yourself like in the big screen, especially growing up when it's like there's no one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it was emotional. So I was like, I have to do this. I have to do this as a cosplayer who cosplayed everything except an Asian character. I'm like, I have to do the Asian character.
Well, it was an awesome costume, and I think it's just one of the things that I feel we'll get out of is Kelly Marie Tran is a comedian. That's where she came from. She doesn't have a lot of like credits, but that's where her background came from. So, and John Boyega is obviously a funny dude. We know that. I feel like there's going to be, if we think Empire Strikes Back, and even what Rian Johnson talked in the little bit that he could talk after they did the panel, is he didn't say, what was the word, delightful was the word that Larry Kasdan and J.J. Abrams used, but he used something similar to that it was still going to be fun. This wasn't going to be a really dark movie. I think they're going to be the humor. They're going to be the characters that we laugh at. And when we think back of Empire Strikes Back, we laughed at Han and Leia and their sort of misadventure through that whole movie and the banter. So I feel like we're going to have good, happy memories with our face smiling when we think about Rose. And we do know she has a sister, and we do know there's a book about her and her sister. And I really like that they're going sisters, because Frozen didn't make any money.
Yeah.
And when you have two female characters, sometimes they can be female characters that don't have romances. Sometimes they can. Sometimes they can have conversations that aren't about guys. So that was actually one of the reasons I really liked Descendants, was it showed two girls who were friends.
Oh, that's important.
Things. So sisters, sometimes they're friends, sometimes they're not, but at least they're doing things together. But if we're talking about, they're saying the movie's about family, I think that her having family will be important to her.
Sidious, Anakin, Luke and Leia, Qui-Gon Jinn, C.O. Bibble, Kylo Ren, Salacious Crumb, Bib Fortuna, Boba Fett, Amidala, Wicket, R2-D2, BB-8, I can barely keep it straight. It's a character discussion. It's the Fangirls on character. It's a character discussion.
All right, it's time for our character discussion, and this is kind of influenced by the Padme Attack of the Clones Forces of Destiny sort of doll that we saw from San Diego Comic-Con. We got this nice image of her in this very Attack of the Clones outfit. And so there's a couple of things that we've been noticing with Forces of Destiny. They tell us some stories about things that occurred that we kind of thought of, that's interesting. I wonder how that happens, but not enough where we needed that story in order to be able to move on. So an example would be Leia and how she got her dress from the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. That was one of the Forces of Destiny shorts. So with that in mind, ladies, if you could write an episode, what moment would you like to see from Star Wars? Trisha, you go first.
Oh my goodness. There's quite a few of moments. I'm a fanfic writer at heart. And so when I was listening to the interview that you guys did with Jennifer Murrow, that was our party transmission, she's talking like, yeah, I wanted to get that moment with the dress. And I'm like, we all have those moments, right?
Yes.
We all have those little things. So I'm thinking about what are all the moments. So I saw some people comment that Shmi should get some love from Forces of Destiny. I don't know that she will because she's not in that like young character, but I'd love to see Shmi meet Klieg. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When she gets, I mean, she doesn't have her son anymore, but you know, she obviously was able to move on. So I would love to see a little character moment from that. I would love to see Beru being a mom to Luke. A little short. I don't know, pouring some blue moon. You know, when he's little, because she obviously, I mean, she wanted a child. She took him in and she acted as his mom. And then that action figure doll, that moment when she shows up in Attack of the Clones and she pilots her own little starfighter. I mean, they trusted her to pilot her own starfighter. She was competent enough that they were like, okay, you could do this. And if something went down, you could still be piloting that starfighter and be competent at it. So I would love to see Padme and Dorme flying their starfighters in handmaiden training.
Cool.
Cool. All right, Sarah, do you want to go next or do you want me to go?
I'll go. Let's see.
Okay.
So I brainstormed. I'm not quite as good at Trisha at brainstorming stories. So I had one moment that I would like to see. And I think that, well, Queen Amidala is obviously all made up, and in the movies we see her in all these various outfits with her beautiful lipstick and everything. And what I would love to see is a moment where the handmaidens are transforming Padme into Amidala for the day. What the ritual of it is, what goes into it, and then to make it a story, maybe one of the handmaidens who's new, like, forgets a very important thing and has to race to find it because she's afraid that, you know, she'll be fired or something will happen, and she like races back and she has whatever it is, and instead of being mad, Amidala is just like, oh, that's okay. You know, she shows compassion towards the little girl. So you learn how to be. So anyone, little girls watching this would be like, oh, that's what compassion is, and you know, and just know that's the lesson to be learned in that little short. So I would love to see that.
Cool. So I did not think of this in the terms of Forces of Destiny of like it needs to be a woman in the forefront. I was like, ooh, what would be cute little stories? So here's a few of mine. I want to see Padme with her first boyfriend because she talks about him.
And what's his name?
I don't remember.
No, but he was very cute.
Girl, you can find fan fictions about that. I will send you a few links. So
I want to see what Jar Jar actually did to get exiled. So I think that would be really fun.
Nice.
I'd like to see Ayla Secura do anything. Just, you know, a episode focused on her doing something really cool. I don't know what, but anything. I'd like to see the hatching of the plan to save Han from Carbonite. I want to find out how they came up with all this. Like, oh, let's put the lightsaber in R2, and then you guys go, and then Lando, you dress up like this guy. Like, I want to see like the whole thing, the orchestration of the plan.
That's and like a whole movie.
Yeah,
right. And then I want to see R2 and BB-8 meeting for the very first time. Because BB-8's like nudging him, like, wake up, friend, wake up, I miss you. And I want to know why he cares about him so much.
Have you seen
droid?
The what is it? The Star Wars blips, the little animation?
Yeah, I have. But, like, I want to see the meet for the very first time.
Oh.
So,
I like it.
It'd probably be, like, all potty mouth. Like, hey, what you want about that? Remember? Beep, beep. You know, I think they both have foul mouths. I know they do.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's why they have to beep at each other instead of saying it. 3PO is the one with the clean mouth. He's always like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see a girl droid. Just a girl droid with who's not pink.
Right.
I like
You want pink lightsabers, but not pink droids. Thank you very much.
Well, but we have a pink droid. I'd like to see more than a pink droid.
That's true.
That'd be cool. All right, girls. Well, I think that brings us to the end of another episode. Sad.
But there's so much news. There's so much fun coming. So we will look forward to actually talking with everyone on social media between now and then.
Yeah, you can find us over at fangirlsgoingrogue.com, and you can also find us on Twitter. We are at FGGoingRogue. Trisha is at Fangirl Cantina. I am at Ice Cold Penguin. Sarah is at Jedi Tink, and our social media manager Sandra is at Geek Chic 9.
If you want us to talk about your email, you can send us the email contact@fangirlsgoingrogue.com. You can always talk to us on Facebook, Fangirls Going Rogue, or join our Facebook group for more discussion. And more hot callus coming on Tumblr, fangirlsgoingrogue.tumblr.com.
And on Instagram, we are at FGGoingRogue. You can also leave us a voicemail. That is 331-21-EWOKS. And you can check us out on YouTube, where we are also posting our shows. So if you like YouTube better, go there. You can also support us by buying a t-shirt from our TeePublic store. And you can find that by going to fangirlsgoingrogue.com and clicking on Support Us.
And please go to iTunes or your podcatcher and leave a positive 5-star review. We need your review so more people find us on iTunes.
Woohoo! So, until next time, Yub Cubs. Da 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 da. Yub.
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 Yep.
Oh, y'all can keep talking. I was.
She's like typing.
You're gonna have to. You're
distract. Edit.
Sorry, I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
So I was gonna let you guys keep talking about this other stuff really quick.
Teresa has to pee.
I do. I'll be right back. Y'all talk about Canto
Okay.
Bite.
Okay. Now, yes, isn't the Goddess of Death that's played by Cate Blanchett, right?
Yes, and her
Yeah.
her makeup is like goth,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's super cool.
yeah, it's way awesome.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that I saw it on Instagram and Twitter of people after the Thor Ragnarok trailer premiered. They said, "Oh, I already forgot about that JL trailer, whatever that was."
What's J? Wait, what? Oh,
Justice
Justice
League.
League.
The 4 minute of nothing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. My favorite is Superman is our hope. Superman is the hope. I'm like, Superman was a miserable douche in the first season. Who's trying to, I mean, is this their like rethinking it? And they're like, yes, Superman was the hope in all the other movies that Zack
Right.
Snyder didn't make.
That
But
had John
no.
Williams Superman music.
Right.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
But and even in Superman Returns, I mean, he didn't go away because he was a douche. I mean, I know that she didn't think so, but anyway, yeah. Justice League, you're still, even though there's a lot of Amazons in it and Steppenwolf, I'm still not sold. So
I'm not either. Not either. Sorry, Justice League.
I'm
You
waiting.
know,
I'm waiting and seeing. I did like all the shots of Diana in there. That was fun.
But here's the thing. Is it worth all of the money to pay to go and watch this movie for all the shots of her, and then you have to sit through all the other
Yeah.
caca?
I'm
No.
waiting to see what people say. I'm totally waiting. Although some of the dialogue in that trailer was totally Joss Whedon.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a line about the penguins.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you miss the days where we're of wind up penguins or something?
Yeah. Yeah, that was totally Joss Whedon. Not, which is kind of, I remember back when we were all like, oh, there's going to be no humor in DC. And we were like, wow, what are you saying? And then we had like 2 years of no humor in DC. And then they saw Suicide Squad and the trailer was funny. And everybody's like, yeah, but that's not the movie. We need to recut it so we can make more funny stuff. And now we're going to making funny DC. So,
Well, The Flash had some funny lines in that trailer, I will say, because he said something like, man, they just come and go, don't they?
Yeah.
That's rude. And then
yeah.
he just
Well,
takes off.
And I don't think any of that is, I mean, the funny is not Zach's. There's nothing, funny is not in him.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't think that came from him. So,
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, that was our Justice League rant, everybody.
Hey, that was pretty good time that time.
I know. That was awesome.
All right, Sarah's going to go sleep now.
Yeah, right. I think so.
All right, ladies.
All right.
Okay, bye.